All right, so these are the game of the year nominees. You can fill them out at thegameawards.com. It's just on the front page. So we're gonna go through these. I'll give you guys my opinions and tell you guys what I think is gonna win, should win, whatever else. So I'm gonna pick what I think deserves to win and what I think might win. So let's get this started. Oh, before we start, thank you, Coffee Cup. Thank you, Torn Grace. Thank you, Competent. And thank you, Veritas, for the resubs, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The Big 3-6. Thank you, Veritas. Thank you. So, Game of the Year. Game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. As I've shared many times before, I'm not going to get into it too much. I haven't played any of these besides Elden Ring, but I've watched all the cutscenes for God of War Ragnarok. I may as well have played the game. I've watched a lot of Horizon. I've watched the entirety of Stray. I have watched a lot of Xenoblade 3, and I actually haven't watched any of Plague Tale, so I don't have a fair say on Plague Tale. But anyways, just to cut it short, because I've already talked so much about Elden Ring, I think Elden Ring should win. I think it's gonna win. As good of a game as God of War Ragnarok is and was, Elden Ring was more than a game. It took over the entire internet, not for a week or two like most games. Most games, when they're popular, they take over the internet for like a week, the release day. Elden Ring, to this day, is still in the top 30 Steam games, and it's a single player game. I get there's PvP and stuff, but I have never, ever seen more hype leading up to a game, and it met that hype and surpassed it, far surpassed it. As someone that was hyped to play the game myself, it's insane to play a game where you're playing through it and there's more and there's more and there's more, and all that more is better and great content. But for Game of the Year, is it goes beyond like, is there bugs and glitches? Are the graphics good? It's like, what kind of effect did it have in the gaming industry? What kind of effect did it have on the world? That game set a new precedent for open world games. Now, do people have to deliver on it? God, no. Look at Pokemon Scarlet. The open world compared to that game. If you compare those two games with their open world, whoo! Elden Ring blows out of the water. But I do think God of War Ragnarok, like, obviously this is an amazing game too. I don't think these other games have even a slight chance. I don't even think God of War has a very big chance. It's just games like Elden Ring, whether you liked it or not, if you paid any attention to the internet when it came out, come on. It was a phenomena. Like, you do not see games like this ever, that like everyone plays hundreds of hours, not everyone obviously, but a lot of people play hundreds of hours of, and the internet, like, there's articles coming out about it every day. There's TikTok videos, Twitter videos, like just non-stop content. And now, like, it's been 3 weeks since God of War. The only TikTok videos I see now for God of War are those classic, like God of War 3 falling down the mountain with the inspirational music playing. They're already fizzling out. And Elden Ring is still popping off online. YouTube videos, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. It's still popping off. So anyway, I think Elden Ring is an easy pick. It doesn't mean any of the other ones are bad games though. Next category, best game direction. Best game direction. Well, see, there's where God of War comes out. I don't even know what immortality is, and I don't need to know, because for something like this, you know what's funny about these game awards, in my opinion? If it's nominated for Game of the Year, like this, there's no way this is going to win, because it's against 4 Game of the Year nominees. So I think these are a little redundant. Best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development of the game. Elden Ring, absolutely not. Plague Tale, I don't know much about it. I know Horizon did a good job in this, and I don't even know what immortality is, but it, best narrative, come on. For storytelling, God of War, easy pick. Best art direction. Oh, Scorn. Oh. You know, for art direction, honestly, Scorn, yeah, it did a really good job. Now, I think Scorn it did exactly what it wanted to do. I think it just shouldn't have had combat. Scorn's combat was dog ass. Like, it should have just been a walking simulator, honestly. And the enemies that it had should have just been stealth sections or something. But for art direction, Outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. I mean, on this list, Scorn definitely has the most unique stuff in there. Like, I've seen everything these games have to offer before, but Scorn, I'm going with Scorn. So I'm sorry, I know that's probably like an underdog pick, but hey, you guys can vote too. Best score and music. It is insane that Sonic's not here. I'm actually very disappointed that Sonic's not on this list because it had an amazing soundtrack. Like, it's so you guys know me, most of you. I always listen to every game soundtrack, even if I don't play it. Xenoblade 3 had a great soundtrack. Metal Hellsinger, the whole game is about the soundtrack. Elden Ring, sure. Plague Tale, I haven't listened to any songs, but you know what? That's me attempting to sing the God of War theme. I'm going with God of War. But this is honestly a really tough one though. I think Metal Hellsinger, like, I love metal music and stuff, but when I think of a soundtrack, actually, you know what? Yeah, it's really hard to pick. It's really, this is a tough one. I'm uncertain. I'm going with God of War, but Metal Hellsinger and Xenoblade and Elden Ring. You know, Elden Ring less so. Like, I think the soundtrack in Elden Ring was really good, but it definitely didn't, for the Souls games, it didn't like super stand out for me this time. But God of War, I've been listening to the soundtrack of God of War, not gonna lie, and I really like it. I'm sure this has a godlike soundtrack too, but okay. Best audio design. Recognize the best in-game audio and sound design. Guns. Cars. So many different spells and animation, or so many different spells in this game and different sound effects. Elden Ring definitely has the most varied for these, and they're all really well done. The sound design in this game was really good. I don't know how they get the sound effects for Call of Duty games nowadays, but you'd assume it's like, all right, if you have an M4 in the game, you record an M4 shot somehow with some amazing microphone and put it in the game. Like, how hard, in my brain, in my uneducated brain on this topic, how hard could that be? And granted, the car games win this a lot of the time too. Win like best audio design. They always do really well in this category. But for me, my pick is Elden Ring. Well, best performance. His face just got me. What a picture they chose for Christopher. For voice acting, motion and or performance capture. You know, come on. I'm going with Christopher Judge. Like, the guy does a fucking incredible job. Games for Impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Really need to blow my nose. Oh. Fake gamer, by the way. I don't know what any of these are. What do you guys think? A couple of you are saying Citizen Sleeper. Okay. Looks like it has cool art direction. Citizen Resident Sleeper? We'll go with Citizen Sleeper, because I don't know. Whatever. Best ongoing. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves through the player experience over time. Apex. So I have actually played these. Well, I didn't play Destiny 2 and I didn't play Fortnite, but I've watched a lot of both of them. I've played Genshin. I have played a little bit of Final Fantasy, but I'd say Final Fantasy. Like the game out of like Fortnite's been doing really well and stuff, but I don't know. I think oh wow, you guys also think. Okay, well, I'm going with this. I think Final Fantasy. I'm glad I'm not in the minority. But I do think this game deserves it. They did put in a fuck ton of work over the past while of it. So best indie for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside. So Tunic, I've watched a lot, played the whole game, watched a lot, played the whole game. For me, guys, this is yeah. Oh wow, you guys are not gonna agree with me. This is a really hard one. I know Tunic's great. Watched a lot of it. Stray, I know people love this game. Sifu, I fucking loved Sifu. Sifu is a fantastic game. If you haven't played Sifu, it's so good. Neon White looked incredible. It looks like a great game. Looks like a great speed game too, but man, I gotta go with Cult of the Lamb. It's so now Sifu is unique. They're all unique in their own way. But Cult of the Lamb was something I really loved on Twitch. Like I loved streaming this game, and I thought it was such a unique idea of course, the animal streamer, the guy who grew up with 20 different pets and my icon's a chicken and all that. Of course, I'm picking the game about animals. I'm aware this is about a cat. This is about a fox. This is about animals, and like all animals. Loved Cult of the Lamb. Such a unique idea that like finding a game that is truly unique nowadays, like something that you've never seen done before, is so rare. And now, yes, some elements like creating your town and building up all your resources and stuff, yeah, they've been done many times, but in the style that Cult of the Lamb did is very unique. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like these other games. I think Sifu's if I wasn't picking Cult of the Lamb, I'd pick Sifu. Sifu is fucking sick. That game flows so well, has a great story, has great combat, really good pacing, and decent replayability. I think Sifu is a fantastic game, and this is a tough one for me, but Cult of the Lamb was a special place for me on Twitch. I really, really enjoyed that game. Best mobile game. Oof. Yikes. The only one of these I played a lot of was Diablo Immortal. But I'm not voting for that one. I hear Marvel Snap is really good. I've watched some Tower of Fantasy. It seems like it's just Genshin Impact, right? And then there's Genshin Impact, the GOAT, and then Apex. I hear a lot of good things about Marvel Snap. Not voting for Tower. It's between, well, it's actually just Genshin for me, but I do hear Marvel Snap's really good. I'm gonna vote for Genshin though. Because as much as some people hate Genshin, I think it's a well-made game for the most part. Little predatory, but best community support. Recognize a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity. I got it. That's Final Fantasy, dude. Easy, easy. They're so transparent, and the community support for that game is insanely good. I pay attention to this kind of thing. Final Fantasy 14. We're talking about the game that destroyed its skeleton, its foundation, to recreate itself to be a better game, with Realm Reborn. Innovation and accessibility. Honestly, okay, guys, fill me in. Last of Us Part 2. Now, guys, a lot of people are biased on stuff like this, where they're like, I hate Last of Us, so I'm not voting for it. Last of Us 2 had insane accessibility, like crazy. Like, you could do everything. You could basically make yourself invincible, or like immortal and invisible and everything. Did they do the same thing for Last of Us Part 1? Because if they did, there's no way these games are beating that shit. They did? Easy Last of Us 1 then. Like, that was one of the things in Last of Us 2, say what you will about that game, but when I went to the accessibility options, I was like, Now, this, by the way, this conversation is not about, oh, accessibility, like if they made an easy mode to Elden Ring, that would kill the game. It's not about that. It's about, is the accessibility good in the game? And for Last of Us 2, it was fucking god tier. So if Last of Us 1 did the same thing, I can't see anything beating it. Now, I'm not sure about the options for these other games. I played The Quarry, but I didn't look too much into it. But why I'm so quick to judge and quick to ask about Last of Us 1 is because it's something I noticed. I usually just skim over accessibility because I like to make games, usually I like to make games as hard as they can be, so I don't even look at the accessibility options too much. But I didn't even have to look at them too much for Last of Us 2 because they were just, it's like a brick to the face. You're like, holy shit, you'd literally become God in this game. If you want to, you could play the game with no limbs and just blowing on the mic. Best VR/AR. Haven't played these, but I'm gonna go with my well, I played Among Us and I've watched Among Us VR, and you know what? I don't want you guys to think I'm hella sus, okay? Best action game. Not many action games come out this year. Well, this is my favorite one. I haven't played Bayonetta 3. I mean, it's probably Bayonetta 3 or COD that's going to win this category. But you know what? You know what? I'm going to do something selfish and vote for Turtles because I love this game. I don't think it deserves to win, but I'm throwing my vote to TMNT because I want more. I want more. Shredder's Revenge is fucking awesome. I played with my brother. It's on YouTube if you want to watch it. Yeah, Shawnee, yeah. Best action adventure. Best role playing. Oh my god. Oh my god. I keep forgetting Legends of Arceus was this year. God, that's nuts, guys. That is nuts. Like, holy shit. Can't believe that. But yeah, RPG, I mean, if I voted Elden Ring for Game of the Year, it's obviously role-playing Game of the Year too, you know? But this is, you know, I loved Arceus. I loved Pokemon Legends. I really did, but... Best fighting. This is controversial that Sifu's on here. People are not happy with that, but best fighting... Man, not a great year for fighting games either. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I heard you can't even play this right now. Is that true? King of Fighters. You know what? I'm going Multiverses. Yeah, that's my preferred game. Best family. Oh, this one's tough. I played Kirby, Lego Star Wars. No interest at all in this. I think this whole shebang should just burn and crash and die. It ruined Rayman, and I'll never forgive it. And it's weird, and I don't like it at all. Nintendo Sports, it is what it is. Splatoon 3, I've watched a lot of it. You know what? Loved both of these games. Best family. Best game appropriate for the family play. Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking Kirby. Like Kirby was a high quality game. A very high quality game. Like there was, in my opinion, there was nothing, there was actually a couple bad things about Kirby. The fact that when you went to 100% the game, you couldn't quit out of levels when you got the Waddle Dee. That fucking pissed me off. That's like a horrible, like how did they miss that? Like why force the player to redo the baby level? But other than that, everything was spot on. Gameplay, graphics, the graphics were amazing. The story, like the Kirby story, all the level designs, loved Kirby. Thought that was an amazing game. Best Sim strategy. I did not play a lot of Sim or strategy this year. Well, I'm gonna vote for the only one I know, the GOAT. Dune Spice Wars. I'm gonna vote for the GOAT. Best sport. How do you skip? Can you skip? I mean, yeah, you know what? I'll judge from the trailers I've seen. Like, I'm going with Gran Turismo. Best multiplayer. Well, the game I put the most time in. Oh boy. Guys, I mean, the game I played the most is Overwatch 2. I'm a recovering Blizzard fanboy. Well, if the problem with Overwatch 2 is it's not finished. Its main selling point isn't even in the game yet. It's probably, I would say Modern Warfare 2 is going to win. But, you know what? I'm just going to give another dub to Ninja Turtles here. Content Creator of the Year. Carl Jacobs, that is the Mr. Beast guy. Don't know who Nobrew is. I've seen a lot of QT Cinderellas. I've seen a lot of Ludwig. This is the Twitter guy. Matt, Ludwig makes Bawkbasoup. Thank you, guys. Ludwig makes God tier content, and QT Cinderella also makes God tier content. She does a really good job, but Ludwig, like him or hate him, you know what? Twitch is so funny. Like when it comes to streamers, like when a certain streamer looks at another one from another category, they all laugh at them and think they're like cringy and stuff. But Ludwig makes great content. He's the reason for people killing themselves with long, unending subathons. But he does do a good job to innovate his content, and for that, I can appreciate that. He does do a really good job. So I'm going to vote for Ludwig. Best debut indie. Ooh. Sorry, Stray. Vampire Survivors, easy for me. Easy. Easy. I have like 100 hours in that game. Sorry, Stray. I would do Stray if it wasn't for Vampire Survivors. That game's God tier. $2 game. $2 for like 100 plus hours of playtime. Give me that shit. Give me more of that. See, I could say give me more of Stray, but Stray is the kind of game you wait 5 years for, you play it in 4 hours, and then that's that. Vampire Survivors, pay $2 for it, you'll be playing it for fucking years. Best adaptation. Recognize outstanding creative work that faithfully, authentically adapts a video game to another entertainment medium. God, no. Haven't seen it. Probably the best video game movie ever made, critically. I haven't seen this, but I heard good things. And literally the best video game adaptation ever made. This might be it up there as well, but I haven't seen it. Arcane, I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's no fucking way these three win. I haven't seen this, but, you know, I'm confident. There's no fucking way. Like, Sonic, sure. If you want to be a fanboy, vote for it. But guys, trust me on this. I've seen most video game movies. It's a huge topic on the stream. We've talked about it many times. We have had multiple streams where we went through every single video game movie ever created on Rotten Tomatoes and Internet Movie Database. And we read the critic reviews and the audience reviews. We checked everything. Nothing beats Arcane. Arcane stomps. Arcane's fucking God tier. It's like the only video game adaptation that actually did really well. Like, they nailed it. They nailed it. But as I said, I haven't watched Cyberpunk, and I hear it's really good too. I actually hear it's like insanely good. I digress though. Guys, I wish we could get the quality of Arcane for a Resident Evil show or Silent Hill. But like, Arcane just fucking stomps the balls off of every Resident Evil adaptation ever made easily. Oh my god, Arcane is so much better than all that garbage. Arcane is God tier. Such a good show. And I want to watch Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. But I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. And I want to watch Cyberpunk Edgerunners. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't got around to it yet, but I hear it's really good. I haven't I I doubt it's better than Arcane. Woo! Sorry, I'm passionate about that one. That this is the first thing I've seen. Most anticipated game. I mean, I don't even care. Like, this is the most anticipated game, for sure. But I think this is between these two. RE4. Like, Starfield is anticipated. But like, man, of all the trailers I've seen for these games, RE4 looks the fucking best. I'm a little... a little biased here. But... little bias. Best esports game. Also a little bias on this one. I've played Dota 2. I've played Rocket League. I've played a ton of Counter-Strike. I have, whether you guys want to believe it or not, I have never played Valorant. But League, dude, League popularized, before we get into it, I'm aware there were Counter-Strike tournaments. I'm aware there were Dota 2 tournaments. I'm aware of all that stuff. I've been addicted to games since I was 3 years old. League popularized esports. League was the reason I became a streamer. My first year of streaming was just League. I was trying to be the best Hecarim player ever in the entire world, and I was in the top 0.01% of Hecarim players. And I made my whole career based off of that. And not to mention Hecarim, but I also was top rank at a lot of other champions. I love League, and I've put thousands of hours into the game, and I still respect the game to this day, but I'll always super respect it for popularizing esports. And with that being said, just to piggyback off that, popularizing Twitch in general. But this is about this year, and I hear League has been doing wonders this year, and I've played it this year. I played a few weeks of a patch back in like June or July. I was a little addicted to it for a couple weeks. No, Reverse, yeah. Fake. Best esports athlete. I didn't look. Faker. There he is. Best esports team. Okay, this one I do not know. But I do know the game that takes the most skill, and that's League, easily. Best esports coach. I'm skipping this. First one I'm skipping. Oh, wait, do I know them? Ambrose, or Robin. No, I have never heard of any of these people. We're gonna be skipping. Best esports event. Okay. Didn't watch. I don't even know what the hell that is, actually. This is always God tier, and Evo is always God tier. That's a... I watched a lot of Evo this year, actually. Yeah, I'm going with Evo. Even though I think Worlds probably will win, but I gotta go with Evo. I loved it this year. I watched a lot of it. Yeah, Evo was good. And that's it. That's it, folks. You voted for Evo. I can go back and check my votes. There you go, guys. If you want to see it, boom, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. I skipped best esports coach. God, that picture, dude, is not flattering. But he is a Giga Chad, so. All right, we are gonna play some RE2 randomizers now. The only one that matters right here. All right, for a remake, bat test. These lists are picked by who? By the... I mean, I know that the Game Awards are sometimes controversial, but like... Or sometimes, always. We could use Game of the Year, for example. What do you guys think would beat Elden Ring or God of War that isn't on here? That you think got robbed? Reverse. Like, it's unfortunate that anything came out, like, for specifically for Game of the Year. It's unfortunate that, well, actually, rewind for a sec. Horizon Forbidden West got butt frigged. Dude, talk about the worst timing ever to release a video game. Like, Elden Ring has been the most hyped up game for years, dude. Game of Thrones, like, George R.R. Martin fans were going nuts. Dark Souls fans were going nuts. Gamers were going nuts. And Horizon just, oh, that timing. Brutal timing to get released. I think Horizon would have been more fondly looked upon if it didn't come out right when Elden Ring came out. Because you guys got to realize, not everyone, not everyone can just go spend like $90 or, well, Canada's 90. Not everyone can just go spend $90 on a new game every week, you know? People don't have that kind of cash. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. So, like, you know, when these two games come out right back to back with one another, a lot of people got to pick one. And spoiler alert, most of them picked Elden Ring. $5 billion. Elden Ring ain't that good. Horizon was the better game. What was your favorite boss fight in Elden Ring? Just curious, Davey boy. Yeah, what was everyone's game of the year in chat? While we're at it. Elden Ring, God of War, Proteus. I don't even know what that is. Signalis. Yeah, I gotta play Signalis soon. God of War, personal bias. Like, guys, I don't read any of these comments and think you're crazy. Like, oh, you didn't pick Elden Ring? The only reason I'm so hard on Elden Ring, it's not for like personal, as I've said many times, and we'll get off this whole topic. If people want to know my opinion, they can watch this VOD. I'm going to put it up on the VOD's channel and people could just see my opinion. It's not, I did love Elden Ring, and I've watched all God of War. I watched all the cutscenes in God of War. I think that game is incredible, and what they've done with the Kratos character, like the character development of Kratos is one of the best I've seen. I've never even played any of them, but I've watched all the cutscenes. That's good enough, all right? Good enough for me to make a point about it. Kratos' character development through all those games, just saying it is enough to give like someone that loves games like chills, and someone that's passionate about games, like it's enough to bring a tear to your eye, honestly. Seeing some barbaric fucking mongoloid crazy like beefcake just kill everything with no remorse, but actually get a beautiful arc in these new games. I hope mongoloid isn't a bad term. I actually don't know. But yeah, it's I understand how good God of War is. I get it. I get it 100%. I'm sorry. Okay, I take it back. Not mongoloid. Not mongoloid. Okay, listen fellas. I'm friends with the Mongolian. I've heard it in his stream. The dialogue carried over here. But yeah, it's a very, very well done game. And just saying Elden Ring is like better doesn't mean that, like, it's no disrespect to God of War or anything like that. Oh my god. I could have just said Mongoloid and not went back and been like, oh shit, is that bad? I could have just kept going and no one would have said a goddamn thing. At least I look back and I actually acknowledge it, unlike most people would. Not to mention people say it on Twitch all the time, so yeah, it's not a problem. Anyways, yeah, Elden Ring, as I've said many times, it's the biggest game I've seen, the biggest blow up for a game I think I've ever seen, ever. And yeah, it's just an easy win. Like I don't think there's any possible way anything could beat Elden Ring, no matter what came out this year. Like Elden Ring is a massive step for gaming in general. And if you didn't like it, that's cool. But at least give it the respect it deserves and acknowledge the fact. Acknowledge it for what it is, which is a fucking masterpiece. If you didn't like it, cool. And if you hate on it, cool. But just take a step back out of your own brain and be like, oh wait, most of the world thinks this is literally the best game ever created. Nah, they're all wrong. Fuck them. Am I right? Thank you, Tadam, for the 3 months. Thank you, Santi, for the 7. Thank you, Donasar, for the 5. Thank you, Ryder, for the 10. Thank you, Pon for the 18. Thank you, Robert and Kachow. Thank you. Thank you, Veritas. Thank you, Ray, Torn Grace, Ghetto. Thank you, everyone. No, but sorry, it just sort of, I get stuck on this too much. It irks me sometimes when people will just shit on a game because they don't like nah, it sucks. But in reality, it's like, at least when I say a game sucks and it's like super mega popular and people love it and it has insane reviews from critics and audiences, like a 9.9 out of 10 and 9.9 out of 10 from audiences from like millions of reviews, I'm not gonna be like, oh, that game sucks. I acknowledge that it's an amazing game and that most people love it, and I'm in the minority and I don't enjoy it personally. But a lot of people will be like, that game blows, dude. You're stupid. Like, buddy, wake up. Just because I sort of like this topic and this will be the last time we touch on it, so I don't want to move on to... Elden Ring is good, but it's nothing special. Okay? Name me a special game. When you guys think a special game, like a special game, what is it? For everyone. I'm curious. Because if Elden Ring ain't special, what is? I agree, Devil May Cry 5 is special. Bubsy 3D. Metal Gear is special. I agree. That wasn't to pick your whatever you chose apart. I'm just curious what people think. Bloodborne is a special game. I agree. Resident Evil Remake. I agree. I think Elden Ring will be Skyrim for the young gamers. Yeah, that's accurate. You know, I was thinking today about I was on the shitter and I was thinking to myself about Pokemon Scarlet and how much people are loving the game despite its faults. And it brought me back to thinking like Skyrim. Skyrim was a fucking disaster, dude. And it's like one of the best games ever made, but it's not. It's terrible. Well, it was. But let's see, it's weird. As long as your game, like, man, people need to prioritize fun way more. Like, not graphics, not just prioritize the fun. Because clearly it works out very well for games like Skyrim and like Scarlet and Violet. Like, now I know Scarlet and Violet is not the greatest example because it's Pokemon. And I've said this myself many times. You could literally take a shit and smear it on the screen, but as long as you can make out some Pokemon in there and a Pokemon battle, and there's new Pokemon and new evolutions, it's good. You know, it's fun. I get that. I get the Pokemon isn't the greatest example, but it is what it is. Scarlet and Violet are messy pieces of garbage, but they're so fun that they're like arguably some of the best Pokemon games ever made. Even though they're the worst, they're at the same time the best, just because of how fun they are. I hope more people prioritize fun when they make a game, because sometimes games get everything right, except it's not fun, you know? Hey, I can think of an example right now. I played the first Plague Tale. I thought the soundtrack was great, the graphics are great, the characters are great, the atmosphere and the setting was well done. But man, I was bored to tears. I thought the game was so boring. I hear this one's way better though. And horror games fall into that category often, where they'll nail like everything, and the game is just like dreadfully boring after the first jump scare. Do I think Elden Ring was fun? I think Elden Ring was fun because of the adventure. Like, it's the kind of game where you just stumble upon something new and interesting very often. And that's what I had fun with. And I always can appreciate a game where you can switch up your playstyle to a completely different one at the snap of your fingers. Like, you wanna go from a barbaric warrior to a glass cannon mage. You do it in like 10 minutes in Elden Ring. And that is what I had fun with. And for something like, let's say for something like the last game of the year, 2019, the other Elden Ring, Sekiro. That's something I didn't like about Sekiro. You can change your skills around and shit, but like, does it really play that much differently? Not at all. You're still spamming R1 or L1, and you're still like doing the Mikiri counter constantly. Like, it doesn't really change your playstyle too much. There's not a lot of wiggle room. But that doesn't make it bad though. Sekiro is, I also think that deserved Game of the Year. I think that was a God tier game. But you know what I mean? I like when a game lets you do anything. That's a personal thing. It's not like an objective, like, oh, Sekiro's bad because you only had the long sword. That's not it. I'm sharing a personal opinion on the game. And the gameplay was really good. Yeah, it was awesome. But someone asked, the question was, what did I like about Elden Ring? Like, what made it fun was the question. And yeah, the challenge too. I like a good challenge, as you guys know. I just like that, like in Pokemon, if you go the wrong way, like if you don't go the semi-intended way, the Pokemon from the gym leaders will literally just one-shot you. Like, they'll use one move and you're dead. Then in Elden Ring, you can overcome the challenge. You can beat the game level 1 naked with your fists. You can beat the game literally with your fists naked, in-game with your fists. Like, you could use your fist on your controller while your character's naked using their own fists at level 1. But Pokemon, you know what I mean? Yeah, and while you're using your fists, you could be buck naked too at your keyboard. And you could beat Elden Ring with your foreskin. Okay? That doesn't mean it's not hard though. Or the game, not the wiener. Alright, shall we play some RE2 or what? I'm glad we got that all done though. I'm glad we voted on the Game of the Year. Holy shit, I've been streaming for 2 hours almost. Let's do a Claire